Alright, here's a little trick I learned to multiply two-digit numbers less than 20, and it's pretty easy, especially with the low numbers. With a little practice, the larger numbers will be easy as well to do right in your head. So let's start simple. We'll start with 12 times 13, and we're going to be concentrating just on these two numbers. And we'll start with the middle digit of the answer, and that's going to be the 2 plus the 3. So 2 plus 3 is 5. And for the ones digit, it's going to be the 2 times the 3. 2 times 3 is 6. And then we just put 1 for the hundreds, and that's the answer. Simple as that. Gets a little bit more tricky when the numbers are a little bigger. So let's say 13 times 15. All right, so again, it's the 3 and the 5. The middle digit is the 3 plus the 5, so that's 8. The ones digit is going to be 3 times the 5, which is 15. So we're going to have to carry 1, and we put in the 1 for the hundreds. And now we look at it, and we have to make an adjustment and add that carry, so it's going to be 195 as the answer. We'll do one more with even bigger numbers. Let's say 15 times 16. And again, this is one where we're going to have to carry twice. So that middle digit is the 5 plus the 6. And maybe I'll write this down. 5 plus 6. And that's going to be 11. And I'm going to leave this here to remind myself that I have to carry. And then the next part is going to be 5 times the 6. And that's going to be 30. So that's going to be a 0 here and a 3 there for 30. And then we add the 1 for the 100s. We make our adjustment, and we get 240. So again, the middle number is the 5 plus the 6. 5 plus the 6. And the first digit number is based on the 5 times the 6. And again, the larger the numbers, then you have to deal with some carrying, but that's something I think with a little practice you can do right in your head, and maybe be a lot faster than just putting pencil to paper all the time. And let me try to explain how all of this works. So if we take a look at it traditionally, and we take our first example of 12 times 13, traditionally I would have done it this way when I was taught way back in the day. And what we're actually doing is the exact same thing that we're doing in the algorithm, but right in our head. So this first digit, this first column is 2 times 3, and that's exactly what you do in traditional. It's like here's the 3 times the 2, and that's 6. There's going to be nothing here, so the 6 will be part of the answer. So right away you get that first digit. All right, next, let's get a different color. And let's see. All right. The next is the 2 plus the 3, and that's exactly what we do in the traditional method, because here it would be 3 times 1, and that would be the 3 here. It would be 1 times 2, and that would be the 2 here. Whoops, 2. That would be the 2 here. And then you add those together, and that would be that second digit, and that goes right here. And then lastly, I'll get it one more color, is this final digit, and that would be the 1 times the 1, and that would come here, and that would fall right into place. So actually what you're doing in the algorithm is just kind of a shortcut to exactly what you would do in the traditional method. But really, if you follow the algorithm, I don't know, it's something that if you practice, you can do right in your head really fast and amaze your parents and friends. Let me show you another example of the larger numbers and how the carrying kind of works. So all right, so here was the larger example that I gave at the beginning of the video, and traditionally it would be 15 times 16, and the middle digit was the 6 plus the 5, and that ended up being a carry. And the first digit is the 6 times the 5, and that would be a carry too. So again, 6 times the 5, and that would be 30, right? And I would be carrying the 3 up here, and this 0 would end up being in the answer. So, it's here, and I'm going to carry the 3 over here. And then the 6 plus the 5, and again, I showed you that that's exactly what we do when we do it traditionally. This would be 6 times the 1, and that would be 6. But then there's that 3. But for the sake of our example, I'm not going to add that right now, where we would have it in traditional method. And then it would be the 1 times the 5, and that would be that. And that would be our 11. But then we would have to add that 3. Okay, so that would be our 4, and that would come here, and we would add that 1. All right, and then here's our 1 times 1, and that 1 for the carry would come over here, and that would be 240. And so again, the algorithm is pretty much what we do in traditional, but certainly, in my opinion, I think can be done much more quickly than putting pencil to paper, far more quickly than some of my kids that I see, and even in middle school, drawing out the big lattice thing. I don't even know the big lattice thing. It takes forever to do. So I'm kind of a traditionalist. I really do think that for difficult problems, this is the way to go. But it's kind of cool to have a nice little quick trick at your disposal, so that you can just do it right in your head. So give it some practice and see how you do.